What traits are found in private lenders? Now, those of you that have watched any of my videos, you realize that I am on a lifelong pursuit to find private lenders. Private money is an important piece in real estate investing. And without private lenders, your career is going to stagnate. So what I'm suggesting is that I've discovered that private lenders have certain traits about them. And the more you know about those traits, the easier it's going to be for you to identify potential private lenders. So let's see what I have on the next slide. I'm going to move this over here so I can see it better. Okay, so if I was an NFL team and I was looking for an offensive lineman, what are the characteristics of the typical offensive lineman? I'd like him to be over 300 pounds. I'd like him to have quick feet, long reach, be intelligent, over 6'4", and have some experience. So me as an NFL guy, where might I go look for such gentlemen? Well, you don't look in the street. You don't look in the gym where they're playing basketball. You look on a football field. You look at college players because that's where they're going to get their experience. So knowing where to look and what you're looking for is a big step in the right direction. And I hope that this video brings a little bit more clarity into what we're looking for. So these are some traits and characteristics of private lenders. I'm going to move me back over there. Okay. A private lender is someone that has sufficient cash to live. Now, if they have sufficient cash to live, are they going to most likely be older or younger? I agree. They're going to be a little bit older mostly. They're generally going to be around retirement age. They're not going to be a young buck. If it is, it's a young buck that didn't have to earn his money. He got it passed down from his mommy. So he's not going to have the same value for a dollar as we do. But they have sufficient cash to live, and I'm going to suggest they're probably a little bit older. They're very conservative and risk averse. So you're probably not going to find somebody that's going to be a private lender that's going to be willing to take a lot of risk. So if they're older, or at least around retirement age, you can probably assume that they were maybe an engineer in their career because that makes sense. It's perfect with their characteristics. Versus being a bank robber. They probably weren't robbing banks because of the risk involved. So they're very conservative and risk averse. So now we're putting these things and we're adding them up in our head and we're wondering, where can we find people just like this? As we continue. Normally private lenders are only searching for a higher return on investment. And that shouldn't say limited. That should say very limited risk. But they're trying to get a higher return than they can get at the bank. I don't even know if they offer bank deposit certificates anymore. I don't even know. But they're just looking for a higher return on their investment. They just want the interest. They want their cash to work for them. Okay, here we are in some other ones. These are some other traits. They currently invest in safe financial instruments, government bonds and securities. They're always low risk with, I'm sorry to say, probably a pretty low return. But they're willing to take their money out of the bank or from underneath their mattress to get some sort of return. Government bonds and securities, money market funds, low growth, high safety stocks. I know that they're out there. I'm not a stock guy, but I know that one time when I was looking in stocks, they asked me if I wanted the high safety or low safety and big growth, low growth. These guys are going to take low growth, high safety stocks. They don't want anything to come close to dinging their principal. So how can we publicly search for guys like this? How can we find private lenders? Because unfortunately, they do not walk around with a sign on their back. So how can we find them? Well, I'm going to show you exactly where we can find them. If you've watched any of my other videos, you realize how big I am into reverse engineering. So one way we're going to find private lenders is to look and see who has recorded a mortgage. Because private lenders, they'll step out from behind the shadows every once in a while, and it might take just the right deal on just the right borrower, but they're going to loan their money out on a mortgage, because when they realize they can get 10, 11, 12, 13% versus 5 or 6, they really get excited. So the way you do this, the way you find private lenders, is to look up investors that you know. Everybody knows the name of a company. Look their name up and see who loaned them money for them to buy stuff. It might have been a hard guy, and a hard guy is different than a private guy. You can take my training if you're interested. It's called Money's Always Looking for Some Place to Work, if you want to know the difference. But a private guy is a better lender to get in bed with and to nurture your career from day one till the day everything is finished. Another place to find private lenders. Remember how we talked about private lenders want safety above all else? Tax certificate investors. A tax certificate investor is what I call a cash investor, because they have cash. They want to get a return on it. They're not a tax deed investor. They don't want to take possession. They're not looking for the big score, 30, 40, 50 grand on the sale of a house. All they want is a consistent return that's safe. And there's very few investments that are safer than tax certificates. So in your state, whatever you guys call your tax delinquency notice, the first, whatever it is, the people that invest in those that don't generally lead to deeds, those are the guys you want to contact. Call them up and say, listen, I saw you invested some tax certificates. Your interest rate is going to be 5%. I can double that. I can give you 10%. Perhaps we should have lunch together and I can talk about it further. I'm a real estate investor of 45 years. Lot of experience. I'd love to share some of my profits with you in the form of a mortgage. Something like that. So that's another place you can look. So you look on recently originated mortgages, and you look up investors, reverse engineer, and see who gave them money. Plus you look for tax certificate investors and you see who's doing that, and they'll definitely be happy to talk to you if you're going to double their return. So wrap it up. We're looking for private lenders. We have the characteristics. If you could think of someplace else where they might be, don't tell anybody else, and maybe you'll be the only one looking there. I get the feeling that you guys never thought about going to tax certificate investors to buy or to become a private lender, but it makes sense. They're aware of real estate. They're very interest rate sensitive, and if you can make the transaction safe for them, they will loan you money that will blossom your career. Trust me. Look for those guys hard, and you treat them right. And of course, you've all seen my 10 commandments of real estate investment. Number 1, don't ever let your investor lose money. That holds water right here. So in any event, thanks for watching. If this is on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye. This is Alfred Einstein with Pockets of Specialized Knowledge. Visit my website, pofsk.com. A lot of free content, a lot of good information on there. I'm going to start a blog this month, and I don't know where that's going to go, but we'll see. And remember, attend your local real estate investment club meetings, and you don't know what you don't know. Look at that face. In any event, okay, guys, see you next time. Thanks a lot for tuning in.